So I'm Karina. I am the founder of SmilingOne. And it's interesting with the word, the founder, right? I feel like it found me just to play on the word. So grew up in Denmark and came here in 2006 with my two beautiful children. And you're going to see one of the maps in our theory of change, where on one side you have the desert, on the other side you have this flourishing growth space. So when I arrived in South Africa, my inner world looked a lot like the desert. And it felt like I had been traveling, well, for 34 years through the desert. And I had not yet at that stage really touched the deeper layers in myself. I felt rudderless and that I was drifting in time and space. So South Africa coming here and really being introduced to a culture that was so different from the world I came from and from what I knew was, it almost like felt like somebody was bringing life back into me. And of course, it was scary in the beginning because, you don't know what you don't know. And being such a master in survival and really versed and adept in the desert, because we're very good at survival when we walk through the desert, I still had to learn what it meant. And the prison work, which I came to because I was busy writing my first books. In those first few years, I finished my first book, The Responsible Individual. And while I still had it in writing, I went to a business breakfast, also networking. So as an entrepreneur, networking from day one. At that first networking meeting I went to was a social worker from Brandvlei Maximum Prison. And he was speaking about the prison project, where I was talking about my book and writing and my leadership concepts and my new business that I started in South Africa. And he invited me to come to the prison. And like faith would have it, and everything in my world, things all connect. That a week later, I was actually having a management training that I had been hired for just 10 minutes outside the same prison. I mean, beautifully dot connect. So as I went to the prison and met this group of inmates, 16 men, I was sharing about the responsible individual in the making the book. You've heard about the program you've heard about from Franklin and from Luyanda. And I committed to say, yes, I'm going to gift you 1 year of my time, not every day, but once a week. I'm going to come to the prison. I also had a little group of women in training with me as coaches in the method, in the responsible individual method. And I'm going to bring this program to you. I mean, little did I know when I made this commitment that I was about to give myself the greatest gift, because that's the way transformation works, and it's the way we work in SmilingOne, is that you get moved deeply and it's going to change you forever. And I remember in 2008 when one of the inmates in Brandvlei Maximum asked me, so Karina, have you ever harmed someone? And I'd actually never, I realized, been honest about. I'd never told anybody about my inner desert. I'd never invited anybody into my journey. I was masterful at painting pretty pictures. So for the first time, I was having a deeply honest conversation about that. Yes, I am angry when nobody's watching. Only my kids really get to see the angry side of me. And that became really the beginning of my own transformational journey of addressing the inner desert, of really looking at what is it that I need to shift? What are the spaces in me that are calling for healing? And it's really important in the work we do at SmilingOne that if you have not done your own inner work, you cannot help anybody else leave their desert, because you don't know what it is. What we do is not a red thing. It's something we've experienced deeply in our own experience. And that's also why our facilitation team are all coming from our projects, because those are the best people to journey with others, to help them look at their deserts, because we meet them. We meet our clients in the deserts to help them take the bold move and explore what it could look like to move into a broader spectrum. And that's what Smiling One, the foundation, these men, thousands of journeys have gifted me with the last 18 years. And so it's deeply personal to me. And I feel deeply called. And I mean, it's beyond choice for me because, I mean, if I could go in and do this work inside prisons every day, I would do it because those are my brothers in change. They help save my life. And I say it every time we start a new process in prison, every time we have a new enrollment. I'm there. I'll show you my scars. You show me yours. So it becomes, we're travel companions to our beneficiaries. And as we celebrate this year, and I welcome you to this beautiful experience of 2024, Reset Year, Reset 2024. I hope that you'll be moved and that you really take time not just to look at the numbers. So how many people did you have, like in the classroom, how many hours did you work, but that you feel the impact. And recently,